Hello, 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 gamers. Welcome to Run It Back, a show where we try to get things right the second time. We're going to go and dive into a Final Fantasy draft here and see how our heart can be broken today. If you have not seen our last couple of videos, there have been some doozies as far as drafts, like incredible drafts, and just not really having things work out. So, taking a look at our first pack, I see a Bartz and Boko, which is a bit of a build around. You want some birds. Affinity for birds, making this like a 3 mana 4/3 is pretty incredible, and then also dealing damage as a 5 mana 4/3 that it kind of doesn't really do anything. It's a bit tough. On the flip side, Majestic Armor has been okay. Retrieve the Esper is great in those blue-red shells. Town Greeter plays best in green-black, but also just good in general. Garnet is a very powerful card if you can get Sagas, but Summon Fenrir, I believe, if I remember correctly, right behind Ultimecia is the #1 best uncommon in the set. It just lets you fix, it lets you ramp. It is incredible if we end up wheeling something like this Garnet. So we're going to go ahead and pick this up. Exactly the kind of thing I want to be doing in this format. Ride the Shoepuff plays really well with Summon Fenrir. I also see an X-Death and an Eject. I really want to, tack these on together. Counters play well in green-white, and also just in general is landfall for red-green. So I think I'm probably going to scoop those up. As of right now, seeing all these blue cards getting passed, we see a black card here, even Gigantoad and X-Death. Like, those are all great cards we're picking up. But I'm going to take this Ride the Shoepuff as it's just a good general card. Garnet playing with Summon Fenrir is pretty incredible. Chosen, the Crystal's Chosen also is a good top end. And Gallicat wears counters very well. I'm going to take this Garnet in the hopes that we maybe wheel that other one. But we're going to keep our eyes peeled for some other things that either might wear counters or play well in counters. Gubu Gardener is a decent way to go up top if we end up getting real big with our ramp package. A little low on side quest catch a fish. I think we're not going to be a heavy artifact deck. Fate of the Suncrest is okay as well. I think we're going to take the first Gubu Gardener over the first Fate of the Suncrest. If we don't ever play a single Fate of the Suncrest, that's going to be okay. White Auracite is a great thing to be ramping into and continue to ramp from. Prisha's Wandering also a notable option as well. But we already have one giant thing in Ride the Shoepuff. White Auracite helps us get there. Grand Pulse Ocho, I actually don't mind. It does wear counters very well, but I also think we might be able to get another one. Fate of the Suncrest, easily something we could get later. Gongaga is something that really allows us to splash a red spell, and so I think I'm actually going to pick this up right away. Summon Anima, great card. Marlboro is also a great card. I'm going to take this Gongaga, see if we can either get into towns, or if something like a Gladiola shows up, we absolutely want to be taking that. Balam T-Rex is a great thing to be ramping into. Slash of Light, also good, but I don't think we're going to be playing many equipment, so that's going to be only solely based on the number of creatures that we have. We're going to be keeping our eye out for a Rinoa as a very, very powerful option to pair with a trample threat or a flyer, I suppose. And really go over the top. Usually when I start talking early in the morning, my lungs start to open up, and that's why we end up getting a couple yawns out of these first packs, just really waking up for the day, even though it's a little bit later than most people might expect. Other cards that I really want to see, obviously, would be Chocobos. I want to see the Saz's Chocobo, and then as soon as we end up making into Fat Chocobo range, that's also good. We see another Garnet. I think it's going to be tough not to do that. It's going to be Legendary, so I don't know if we want a third one. We may see another one wheel in our first pack, as there was a Garnet in that first pack, but it looks like somebody scooped it up. So I'm going to take this Aerith Rescue mission. I think it plays a little bit better than the Cloudbound Moogle. Being able to tap down 3 things is relevant sometimes, but more than likely this is just 3 1/1s that hopefully can be wearing some counters at some point. Also, that plays really well with that Rinoa, heartily. Just going wide and having lots of creatures allows us to stack up certain threats to be particularly good. Other good cards that we're looking for, Colosseum Colossus? No. It's a 7 mana 7/7 that allows you to either draw a card or destroy a enchantment or artifact. Chocobo Racetrack, I think probably would be pretty decent, particularly if we can end up getting Garnet and Summon Fenrir going. And then I think at this point, if we've got 2 garnets, we're just going to take as many summons as we can. As many sagas as we can get moving. If we're going to be splashing, Red Sandworm is something that can play. You know, this is actually something in the landfall deck that you can play. Targeting your own lands, if you target your own forest and go get another forest or whatever, then that allows you to get a second landfall trigger mid-combat. Galacat is a good thing that wears counters, so we'll pick that up. Usually you would want to play this in an artifact deck, but if I have to put a counter on this because I don't have anything else for those counters, and this turns into a 2/4 that later on, you know, with white aura sites or whatever, that plays well. I don't think I want a Monk's Fist, so I'm going to take this in case we end up splashing for black. And then we open up the rest of the pack. Zach Fair wears counters very well. Reach the Horizon also plays well in a sort of town style. Ishgard, I don't think is going to be the card we're looking for right now. So I'm going to take the Zach Fair as a good thing to stack our counters on from Ride the Shootbuff. And hopefully we get a couple extra things that put counters on things. The other stuff that I'm looking for is any sort of payoff for counters, which I don't really know if there is much, but it's just more like kill your opponent because there's no reason to. We're just going to be killing our opponent that way. Oh, wow, look at this. Chocobo Racetrack, Gladiolus, and Choco Kick. These are all 3 great ones. I think that we want the Chocobo Kick first just because removal spells are great. It plays well with lifelink. It's a little sad to see the Chocobo Racetrack go. Oh, man. I promise. We'll stop. Otherwise, you got Galacat here as well. All right, I'm going to take this Chocobo Racetrack. Or, excuse me, the Chocobo Kick. Ha! I've got a Wall of Omens, no thanks. Gladiolus, absolutely worth the splash. Prisha's Wandering enables said splash. I'm going to take this Gladiolus. I think that's a good top end. Giving our other stuff trample after it's getting a bunch of counters is crazy. Which really, okay, get me on this though. Gladiolus is a dude, right? It's just a human, not a giant. Balam T-Rexor, Dinosaur. How are they both 6/6s? Answer that one for me. Renault Hartley, we talked about that being one of the exact cards that we want. I also see a town down here that's exciting, but I just don't, you know, particularly now that we have a Gladiolus as well, this is almost impossible not to take, right? We want to end up going a little bit wide, so this really opens up. We've got a couple trample threats in Balam, and then also Gladiolus making anything else a trample threat. It's crazy. Crystal Fragments, okay. Fate of the Suncrist probably plays a little bit better. Also, we see a red-white. And then a Barrett Wallace is a 4-mana 4/4 Light of Judgment. I don't know how much we're going to be splashing these like non-green-white cards, so I'm going to just take this for better splashing. Omega might be worth it, but this White Mage's Staff I think is pretty easily just done. Put it on early and get things moving. All right, waiting to see what we've got in our next pack. I don't think I want an Oron's Inspiration. Early on, I thought this card was going to be the nuts. I thought it was going to be great. And it's been not great for us. We do have 9 creatures plus White Mage's Staff, which is another creature. But I think just Prisha's Wandering is good enough. It gets our green source. It puts counters on stuff. Vanilla is pretty incredible. We'll scoop that up right away. Gets all of our big things back. You know, if any of this stuff dies, that's great. Otherwise, it helps us find it. Gubu Gardener or Ishgard. Am I ever playing a second Gubu Gardener? I don't think I'm ever playing a second Gubu Gardener. I'm going to take the Ishgard for 2 reasons. 1, it's a town, in case towns are relevant for us. And 2, it's it's 20 gems. We need to scoop up this Gone Town of Ruin because if we see Vanille's other half Fear, we're going to want to pick that up. Are we ever playing a Coeurl or we get 20 gems out of this? Okay, we might play this thing. Eden is fine. Don't know if we'll play it. Blitzball is fine. And then skip the mountain. All right, not playing Kane. Delivery Moogle has one target right now, which is like not great. White Mage Staff is a second target. Otherwise, Ride the Shoe Puff plays with our plan. So we've got a ton of creatures. I'm going to scoop up this Ride the Shoe Puff. It is an early threat, which allows you to stack creatures on things and then also goes late. I think we're likely not on riding or raising a Chocobo. I also think that we're probably not splashing blue for Ignis. So I think we'll just take this Summon Primal Gyruda for now. Even though it's like not as exciting as Ignis or Fatal Push or Raise a Chocobo. But I just don't think we're going to be able to do anything with those other things. Another Raise a Chocobo, of course. We'll take this green-white land. My guess is the person who did the Chocobo Racetrack is going to scoop things up. There's an opportunity for us over the course of the towns to have drafted blue towns, in which case Wandering Minstrel is good. I don't think it's worth splashing unless you're already blue-green. Or you have like 4 towns anyway. Excuse me, Earth Crystal? Yeah, heck yeah, this is great. We've got at least 3 different things that put counters on stuff. This gets counters, this gets counters, that's 4 options. Precious Wandering gets counters, and Zac Fair gets counters. Yeah, give me an Earth Crystal. On top of that, all of our stuff is cheaper, which is great. I say all, I just mean all of our green spells. Yeah, sick Earth Crystal deck. We do have a couple of things that, like, if we don't have any creatures, it's really tough. But we've got 13 total creatures in the moment. Plus, Ride the Shoe Puffs can end up getting a little bit longer. I'm going to take a Gubu Gardener just to make sure that our creature count is up there. Right, our non-creatures include removal spells, some ramp. Oh, this is a creature as well, and then more removal spells. And so the rest of these are all creatures. Take another Chocobo Kick. What is this thing? Thrasios? Yeah, I don't think we're playing that. Oh, this is a Kinnan. All right, I'll take another Chocobo Kick. Just fine. Again, it plays extremely well with Lifelink. Plays extremely well with things with counters on them. This town suggests to me I actually don't have to even play a mountain. We'll just play these 3 towns and go with it. I'm not playing a 4th Gubu Gardener, so we'll take our 20 gems. Ignis is fine. He's going to the sideboard. Another town. Yeah, I think that we can make this work. Self-destruct, reasonable card. Nature's Claim, I think also a perfectly fine card. And a forest. So funny how we got here from Summon Fenrir. Yeah, I think we just ship this. Let it. All right. Round 1. I mean, we've got a Zac Fair into a Gale Cat, and, you know, we'll take these things. A Ride the Shoe Puff would be sort of the exact card that we want, but at least for now. Just slam down. Is this getting Thunder Magicked? Deal. That is fine. Sahagin, sure. We're not going to cycle this Walam T-Rexar. There's no real reason to, unless we get our... Well, even if we have a Gladiolus, we can't do this. So we can cast literally everything in our deck except for the Balam T-Rex. And so, if we don't draw any lands over the course of the next, 10 turns, then we'll just have been drawing gas the whole time anyway. Call the Mountain Chocobo. Sahagin goes 2-a 2-4. Gubu Gardener here. We could double block with Galecat, but not having the Chocobo kick up, plus this making sure that we get to cast our Balam T-Rex next turn. Suggest that we'll just take our damage. We take 5 and then hopefully gain the 3 back. They're only on a Singleton Island, which is not great for them, but I think they'll be okay. Choco Comet, the Galecat, takes 6. Sure. Play the T-Rex. Gain 3. And now we can go like Coworld plus Choco kick the Sahagin. Yeah, my guess is they just flashback. No, they're going to Sleep Magic the T-Rex. Thunder Magic the Gubu Gardener. We take 10. Okay, I was thinking we might like Chocobo kick our own T-Rex. We can still do that now. Kill this. Yeah, I think we might. I think we're going to block the Coworld and then Choco kick our own T-Rex so it wakes up. Excuse me? Oh, this is a sorcery. Well, one day we'll learn the format. One day we'll know. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. I don't think any of this stuff really matters too much. Could self-destruct if we're going to expect more out of Sleep Magic, but at least for now. All right, back to game 2. Seeing if hopefully we won't get tempoed out in this one. Blend first. Cannot keep. This is fine. We also have a green source here. I think we probably get rid of this Aerith rescue mission. And we can go like White Mage's Staff just to get on the board. And then like cycle and play Ishgard if we want to. Or maybe we just play the Galecat right away. He'll make Pixie, sure. Yeah, we're going to play this Galecat. And I play it first because that tells them that they're safe to block and trade here if they want, and they're also unsafe to attack if they want. So if they want to trade off their Pixie for our hero token, then that's, I mean, we want them to do that. We can also cycle the T-Rex, play the, yeah. Okay, now we don't have to cycle the T-Rex and we still Choco kick. All right, good enough for me. I'm going to play that and attack. These artifacts are enchantments. What artifacts and enchantments do we have in the deck? We have 2 Ride the Shoe Puffs, a White Auracite and Earth Crystal, the White Mage's Staff, and a Summon Fenrir, and a Summon Primal Gyruda. So there's lots of things that we can get back with Ishgard. It's going to be tough to actually do it, though, I think. All right. They get rolling with the Call of the Mountain Chocobo. Yeah, they choose not to attack. We're going to play this. I'm going to play this Coral. Get in for 1. And having this be able to tap down a Sahagin that is unblockable feels, I think, pretty strong. Once again, we can cast anything except for Gladiolus in our deck. Yeah, happy to trade off the hero for the bird. A Blazing Bomb, sure. What if they have like a thunder magic or something? They're considering using this on this coral, or they want to use it on the Gale Cat. A Choco Comet, sure. Triggers, yep. Still can't really attack with their Chocobo though, because if they do, yeah, we're gonna trade. They must have like a thunder magic, I guess. White Auracite, huh? And so now they can go like land, call them out in Chocobos, sacrifice the Blazing Bomb, and they've got 2 Chocobos. There's also a possibility that they could just like attack, but if they just attack with both, sure, we'll take 6, but then we can equip our White Mage's Staff onto the Gale Cat and they won't have many options there. Yep, they do just equip. I have to imagine that they're going to sacrifice this. They attack. Okay, that's actually really good for us. Well, I say it's good for us. I mean, there are worse things for it to be. Luckily, we don't have to cycle our Balam T-Rex. Unfortunately, it's a tap land. Sure, you make your birds, and now we've got a warrior sword, which makes the bomb bigger. At what point are we going to sacrifice this bomb and kill the Gale Cat? Is it now? No, they have a sleep magic. We dead. Are we dead? Maybe not technically, but I think we are dead. We're gonna play this. We're gonna gain our 3 life. Oh no, maybe not. If they don't have a land, what they can do is they can equip the warrior sword here. They can automatically sacrifice the bomb. But they do have a land, and that means that we are dead. Dang. We got tempoed out, yo. Choco Comet. I think this is explaining a bit of what the issue with green-white is that if you don't have the card advantage. So, okay, so this is part of the issue with the format is that if you don't have some semblance of card advantage, I guess, advantage by casting your spells, you're just going to run out of steam, right? Like, we drew 7 lands, they had 8 lands, but 2 of them were from Call the Mountain Chocobo, so they had, like, 6 lands. But, like, the difference between 6 and 7 lands is not that big of a deal, except for the fact that, they were able to leverage a bunch of extra stuff out of their cards. Yeah, we're going to play this. We're going to be able to cycle the Balam T-Rex, and that's going to get us another green source and kind of get us moving to Renoa Heartley. So the extra 2 Chocobos here were huge, and that counts like the lands that they got from the Call the Mountain Chocobo. I still think we might summon this, or we might cycle this, just because it's going to be so important for us to get our land drops. Right, and if we play the Summon Fenrir now and had that land in hand, then we can play the Renoa Heartley next turn. And so to finish that last thought, you need some way to gain the card advantage, whether it's additional permanents in play or whatever. And Blue-Red was able to do that, right? They were able to 1-for-1 with some things, and then 2-for-1 with other things, and that was what got them there. Side quest card collection, sure. That plays pretty well with Phoenix Down. Yep. We get to draw a card. We're gonna play Ride the Shoe Puff. This is actually a really good one for Summon Fenrir being there. Gonna put a counter on the dog. Gonna cast a Gale Cat so that way when we attack here, we're attacking for 10. I presume that they'll chump block and gain their 5 life. I would for a hero token if I were them. But we are... Our opponent's staring down lethal this next turn? Yeah, I don't know if that's going to do it. Gonna play this. Put this here. So if we activate for 7, Then we get in for 12 total, 13 total. Alternatively, we can go like white Auracite on the token here. And that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. There's a lot of stuff going on here that we could be pretty easily nature's claimed. I don't know if, yeah, probably. We probably do want that. So let's take out a Gubu Gardener early on. So on the opposite side, we don't have any way of getting white cards. Or, yeah, so we're gonna ship this. If we need another land, we can always cycle the T-Rex, but I'd want that to be a green land anyway. Really hoping that we draw a 2-drop and that Vanilla can really get us out of here. Having a double green now suggests we don't really want to cycle the Balam T-Rex. Nothing from our opponent. Apparently nothing from us either. I mean, pretty brutal if we run into a Syncopate. Yeah. But I don't think we have many options, so... just gonna slam this down. Okay, no Syncopate. Which means we get our... land, I suppose. Wow, nothing from our opponent either. Okay. I think I'm down to attack. No, I don't want to attack. It could pretty. I don't really know what they could have, but it could pretty easily just turn into something that's a problem. And Aether Rescue Mission, not really great. A bunch of 1/1s against this 1/3. She has Arsenal, sure. Now it's a 2/4. Yep. Okay, this turn I'm going to play a T-Rex. Because worst case scenario, next turn we could always just use the T-Rex to bounce a land. But if we start bouncing lands now, then we're going to have problems. Fade the Suncrist, sure. Play the Earth Crystal, play the White Mage's Staff. And then next turn, we can put 2 counters on this thing, right? Distribute 2 counters among 1 or 2 creatures. Okay, Sleep Magic is fine. That still lets us kill the Sahagin. So this should go all the way up to a 6/6, I believe. Yeah. So we don't have to pick up our land. They're going to do something here. They're gonna like eject. It's tough because like, oh, I see. Do you like remove your opponent's creature which you've already spent a Sleep Magic on? Looks like the answer is no. They just had an Ambrosia anyway. What is this? Yeah, that's not gonna work for the Earth Crystal. Oh, yeah. It's only tapped creatures. Need 5 mana for this. So they could use their mana here, but that's not particularly good. Alright, we're gonna make 3 1/1s. We're gonna play Ride the Shoepuff. We're gonna put 2 counters on one of these, and then we can equip this onto another one. So we've got a 3/3, a 2/2, and a 1/1. And in theory, that means that no matter what they equip this to, we can chump that, and this blocks Quistis Trape really well, and this trades with the Ambrosia Whiteheart just fine. I'm not gonna say well, but it's just fine. Wow. Okay. Getting rid of a Swallow by Leviathan and a White Mage's Staff. Trade this. I don't know if they have a second Ambrosia Whiteheart, and that would be one of the reasons why they'd get rid of it so quickly. Play land, get in. We're going to attack with both of these creatures. This is not a sorcery, so we're gonna attack with both these creatures. Go up to 10. Bonk bonk. They go to 13, and then we'll either put some counters on, or we're going to turn on our Ride the Shoot buff. Almost assured that we're gonna turn on our creature. All right, we'll do it now. They have some eject, would be my guess, of some kind. A Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. Okay, not the worst. It's not gonna trigger their things, but they can turn this on. Okay, so we can put... We don't have enough to put counters on it. Okay. If I do 6 mana and put 1 counter on each, that's 2 counters on each. Which means that 7 plus 4 is 11. That's not enough. Alright, so we are going to Gladiolus because Gladiolus is a blocker. We're then going to go get a town, I guess. Landfall here. A trigger there. Still only 11. Gain our 1 life. And then now they need a 4 or greater spell, which would trigger the Sahagin, but they're going to need 2. Edgar, sure. Land and Thief's Knife. Okay, they don't have it, so there's no attacks. We could equip here and then attack with both of these things, and I'm gonna equip here. I'm just gonna attack with this one to gain our life, so that way, like, if they get a 4 or greater, Sahagin's not gonna be it. But if they want to do this, that's fine. They're gonna kill off our big threat, but we are gonna... Oh, we can just kill both their things. Just put our counters here. We're going to kill the Sahagin, which is the most important thing. That can be the unblockable source. We now have another threat in the Ride the Shoot buff, so if for some reason they go like removal spell, like eject into something, like tap this thing down and just attack for 6. That means that we'll be just fine. Because then Ride the Shoot buff gets them. Yep, that's fine. And now we've got 3 blockers, or 3 attackers. This one doesn't technically get there, but... Good enough! Good enough, let's go! We're showing that our deck can actually win some games. People, our deck is fine. But let's see if we can scoop it up into a 2-1. You know. Not always a 3-0 stream here. Alright, we're gonna play first. Yeah, these are fine. No white source yet, but you know, we can see what we can do. Perfect, another white card. But, you know, if we can end up getting a white source, then Garnet can start taking counters off the Summon Primal Garuda. Like, if we can make that work, is just dealing 4 damage to tapped creatures every turn, that is pretty good. Yep. Plains, please. Not a Plains. No reason for us to cycle this T-Rex because we have to draw Plains anyway, so there's, like, no reason to go get another forest. And if we draw that Plains, then we can cast the T-Rex anyway. Stuck on 3 for opponent. A Summon Fenrir for us. Means that we are going to be just fine in the long run. Grab ourselves a Plains. It's really unfortunate because, like, one of our best things that we can do is play Summon Primal Garuda. But that means that in theory we don't want to be casting our Garnet then. So we might actually, what we do is we trade off this Fenrir with the Katana. Because then we can play the Garnet. And then we can play the Garnet as some Primal Garuda and go from there. White Aura Sight is good. I wonder if we're just going to get Thunder Magic. That'd be really unfortunate. But what it seems more likely is they're just going to loot away a non-land and search for more lands. They do have a single town, so this is only 6 to activate. Going to be a little bit, I think, before we get there. A Light of Judgment. Okay, that suggests they don't have land 5, or they don't care about either of these creatures enough to Light of Judgment them. Emperor of Palamecia is a good card. Ideally, what they're going to do is they're going to loot this thing away, searching for a land. But looks like that's not going to be the case. Alrighty. Okay. We're still going to play the Summon Primal Garuda because it allows us to continually activate our Garnet. And then because we're taking the first counter off, if they tap any of their stuff for any reason, then we're just going to kill it on our next upkeep. If they want to block with the Keeker and Merchant, that's fine. If they want to double block and trade with the Emperor of Palamecia, also fine. But we're going to gain the life in the process and hopefully continue to draw white sources. Because if we draw 1 white source, we actually get our 3rd as well. We get to play the White Aura Sight, removing something into another white spell. Really? No Travel the Overworld. Even though they now have their 5th mana with the Emperor of Palamecia out. Fate of the Suncrest, sure. Yep, and really nothing from our opponent. Yep, they can't really attack because otherwise Summon Primal Garuda is going to get them. Alright, I have a dinosaur. I like this early as well, or like pairing it up, because next turn our dinosaur can fly with the Summon Primal Garuda. Right, this jumps something, +1/+1 flying. And just having a big threat that's going to fly is likely good. They could bounce it, they could kill it, they could do something with it or whatever, but at least for now, you know, put down your best cards. You're touching my cards, which I don't love. Light of Judgment, they had a second one, okay. Still looking for that second white source. This White Aura Sight almost assuredly going to pick up the Emperor. 4 damage coming through. Okay, no second white source. That gets... Get in here. I guess we played this thing first. They cannot flip and attack with the Emperor this turn, I think. Well, I suppose with the White Aura Sight, huh? Now if they play a land, they still can. That would be pretty good. Pretty good. They do play a land. They have exactly a 4-drop. Like Retrieve the Esper or something similar. No, okay. We get it for 5. Incredible. Oh, man. Attacking for 2. Play Zac Fair. nearly every single land left in our deck. We've got 11 lands left. 9 of them are white sources, I believe. Unfortunately, 3 of them are tapped, so like that might not even help us here. We played the Zac Fair because the idea that if they end up playing just something that's not a removal spell, like a Retrieve the Esper or whatever, then they're going to attack with the Emperor. We can block and save a bunch of damage, and Zac Fair gets value out of that block. Put a counter on a Gubu Gardener, I suppose, which actually, if we draw our white source finally for the white Auracite, still going to be just fine, because that means that we can take care of the Emperor, and now this 2/4 blocks this Grahatia. Fate of Suncrist, no, it's indestructible. OP. Incredible. With that being said, I think this just means we go put these all down, tap them all, stun the Emperor. Okay. That tracks. Alright. Play our white Auracite. OP looking for someone for Leviathans. Have to take the Grahatia now. Play this Vanille. This is going to be a 6/6. Which I can actually make it 8/8. What if there's a Syncopate here in hand? I think I like Dreams of Laguna, equip this, and then we're just dead. Ah, very good. Just as good. Just as good. Alright, I think we just sort of run that back. I think we'll be fine. I'm not that worried about things in general. Okay. I don't know if this is better or not, but we've got all our colors. We're not drawing any tap lands, that's for certain. Get to play our Zac Fair, we get to play our Windhurst, and then next turn we go like ride the Shoepuff into putting more counters on Zac Fair. Sahagin, sure. And then even next turn we get to go like Galacat land and then hold up the counter for Zac Fair, so that way it can also transfer his counters. Doesn't just die to a... what's the word? Thunder Magic? Should be able to attack through a Sahagin this turn. Gonna play the Galacat. Gonna put our counter on the Zac Fair because it allows it to attack through Sahagin. We can still sacrifice and put all the counters on the Galacat at some point. Seven mana already in order to activate a Ride the Shoepuff is like not great, but also there are worse things. I think we want... is there a 5-drop that we can just... oh yeah, Renoa would be incredible into like a... into a Gladiolus, I think. Would also accept Fenrir and second Ride the Shoepuff. Alright, 4-drop is the big key for them. They don't have double white, so no white Auracite coming on. But even if they did have white Auracite, they don't really have any good options. They could take this Ride the Shoepuff, which is fine, and continue to get beaten down. Or they could end up taking... I'm going to do this, because then if they have a 4 mana spell, then Zach Fair still gets to eat the Sahagin. Okay. I wonder if they have a second one of these. That they're just gonna like untap, play the land, and then do that. Still looking for Renoa then as probably one of our best options. Second white source, terrifying. What do you got, OP? Sorceress schemes back the... Okay. I mean, granted, that means that if they just do that next turn, because they have to spend their whole turn doing it, they can't attack with the Sahagin, because otherwise, like, the Ride the Shoopuf gets them. But I don't know if they necessarily know that. I mean, I'm sure they probably do, right? Like, they're a smart cookie. It's going to take their whole turn. White Auracite, okay. I wonder if they've got like a second thing that they can now cast because of this. Okay. What you got? Nothing. All right, so that means that they, in theory, have something with white-red. I don't know what it is that can... Oh, it's a battle menu? Could be battle menu. I don't think we're ever gonna beat, like, with our Ride the Shoopuf and our Balam T-Rex, I don't think we're beating battle menu into Fate of the Suncrest, so you just sort of force them to have it and then, you know, casting your most expensive cards. Looks like they didn't have it. So we're just gonna run it right back, do our last game, and see if we can come out on top with a 2-1 and get our 1,000 gems back, only losing 500 in the process. On the draw is a little bit tougher, but not something we can't handle. Yeah, absolutely. This works out great. Starting off with Zach Fair once again. I think we're going to... So, we have two options. We can either go Zach Fair tap land, Ride the Shoopuf land, or this next turn we can go Ride the Shoopuf or Garnet. If we play Garnet, then we can go Ride the Shoopuf tap land and then go from there. So maybe we're just going to start off with Garnet with also the added possibility of drawing a Summon Fenrir. And then we go like Ride the Shoopuf into Tapland. Wow. That's like not good. Bonk. Fate of the Suncrest. Coming down. Yeah, sure. Zach Fair goes out. Now we have our own tap land here. And then we can go like Earth Crystal Forest, and that can also Chocobo Kick because of the cost reduction. So, something to be said there. Attacking with the 4/5 can kill off another creature that they have. We're getting closer to activating our own Ride the Shoopuf, but ideally I think we would just want to draw like a creature, a 2-drop. Like even a Gubu Gardener would be just fine. Tap land works in the face of nothing from the opponent. So that's all 4 of our tap lands in this game. But I think we'll be... Wow, that's it. Opponent, we had an aggressive start. They had 1 removal spell. We had 2 threats, and that was it. We were attacking them for 6 next turn. We could even make it all the way up to 10, which we probably wouldn't have done, but they certainly could have. And that's the deck. We had a bit of a free win. We also got trounced and a bit of a free loss in there. It felt like overall there were some powerful things to be doing, but we never really put it all together. A little bit, I suppose, but this deck in theory should have been more aggressive, I feel like. Some of the stuff like even Vanille, which is a good card. If we just had like 3 of the Magitech infantries that were all able to like wear counters, or that Chocobo Racetrack. If I knew we were going to get 3 Chocobo kicks, I probably would have taken that Chocobo Racetrack, just because that continues to pump out creatures that we can put counters on with things like the Earth Crystal. But, there have been a couple drafts for the last couple days where I'm like, ugh, 2-1, no thanks. This should have been way better than that, a 3-0 easily. And this is one of those ones where I looked at it and was like, okay, 2-1 I'm happy with, and we end up getting trounced by 1 player and sort of hung in there with the rest of them. So that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy your weekend and the rest of your day. Be safe. Love yourself. Love each other. Cheers.